What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next installment of the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Bossing, and in this episode I will be showing you guys 2 ways to kill the Chaos Elemental. Before we get into it, I want to say the Chaos Elemental is probably the best place in RuneScape to actually get a pet. The drop rate is super low at only 1 in 300. So if you guys are pet hunting, if you don't have a pet, trying to get your first pet, although the Chaos Elemental is located in the wilderness, it's a little bit dangerous. You can get a pet very easily here with not too much time in terms of the time that it takes to get a pet. So if you're pet hunting and you want your first one, head over to the Chaos Elemental. Without further ado, the first thing we will get into is the combat information about the Chaos Elemental, just to give you guys a little bit of background about this NPC. The Chaos Elemental has a combat level of 305 with a hit points level of 250. The Chaos Elemental's max hit is only 28, but you can see those 28s quite often depending on what style of combat you're using. It is aggressive. Obviously it's in the wilderness, it's always going to attack you, and its aggressive range is very large. So even if you are off of the screen from the Chaos Elemental, it can still hit you. It doesn't have any particular weakness, and it does attack with all 3 combat styles, which are magic, ranged, and melee. The melee attack is long range, so you have to watch out for that. Moving on into its particular combat stats, the Chaos Elemental has level 270 in all combat stats across the board, and its defensive stats are also plus 70 to each style across the board. Now, that 270 defense level is pretty steep, but there is a way we're going to get around that, similar to Callisto. We will be using the full Verac set, which I will show you guys the gear setup in just a little bit. As for the defensive stats, those plus 70s, all the same, so it's not really going to matter what you're going to use. If you don't have a full Verac set, they're all going to hit pretty good based on their bonuses. But like I said, let's go ahead and get into some other stuff, and I'll show you guys some gear setups in a little bit. So next up is going to be the recommended stats. I'm going to have 2 sets of recommended stats for you. First up, this recommended stats is going to be more or less for main accounts. You're going to want to have at least level 70 defense so you can use the full Verac's armor set. It is a Barrow's armor set, so it does require level 70 defense. As for attack and strength, you're going to want to have at least level 80. I believe level 80 will give you a good starting point to fight the Chaos Elemental. The full Verac set will still hit pretty well with these stats through the Chaos Elemental's defenses. So as for the second set of recommended stats, well, what if you're not a main? What if you're a pure and you want to have that 1 in 300 chance at a pet? Well, you don't need any defense level for this second setup. You can have a defense level of 1, but if you do have a defense level 1, you're still going to want to have probably at least level 60 attack at a bare minimum, and this is for the Viggora's Chainmace, which is a wilderness weapon, but you're going to want to also have at least level 80 strength, so you're at least hitting decently with that Viggora's Chainmace. Alright, so how do we get to the Chaos Elemental? Well, there's going to be a couple of ways. First way, and a little bit longer, is going to be using the Wilderness Lever. Now, in Edgeville, you can run slightly south of the bank, and there will be a lever here. You can take this lever, it will teleport you out to the deep wilderness. Once you get here, run north, cut yourself through the web, and start heading to the southeast. Once you get a little bit lower, you're going to run straight east, and the Chaos Elemental will be roaming around somewhere in this area. Like I said earlier, its range is pretty long, and it does have a big roam range. And the second way to get there is going to be a little bit faster, and it is going to be requiring the use of the Wilderness Obelisks, which do teleport you around the wilderness. Now, if you have one of these in your house, that's great. It will make your life a lot easier. If you do not, you're going to want to use the Burning Amulet to teleport to the Chaos Altar, run a little bit north, hit this Wilderness Obelisk, and take it around the wilderness until you find that level 50 portal. Once you hit the level 50 portal, run a little bit to the west, and you will find the Chaos Elemental in that area. If you do have the Wilderness Hard Diaries done, you'll be able to choose your destination from the Wilderness Obelisks, making your trip there very fast. And last but not least, maybe you don't want to risk teleporting around to those Wilderness Obelisks, so you're going to want to grab an Anakarl teleport, which is an ancient teleport tablet, and it will take you to the demonic ruins in the wilderness. From here, you're going to want to run to the northwest through the gate, and then a little bit to the northeast, and you'll find the Chaos Elemental once again roaming around in this area. Now, you will be required to have Desert Treasure done to use these teleport tablets. You don't require the magic level to cast the teleport, but you can buy the teleport tablet and use it whenever you want. On into the gear setups we go. So the first setup I'm going to be showing you guys is the Verac setup. Obviously you can see here I have full Veracs, and that is for that set effect that it has. You can hit through all armor, protection prayers, and defensive bonuses 1 in 4 times and deal full damage. As for the other items, I do have a Myth's Cape on because it is best in slot for Crush. You can also replace that with a God Cape for some extra magic defense, or an Artie Cloak 3 or 4, or possibly a Legends Cape. Blessing, I have Arata's Blessing, which is a reward from the Kibos and Karen diaries. I have the Elite one, which gives me +2 prayer, but any of these will work. As for the gloves and boots, rune gloves and climbing boots, because we don't want to be risking much. We're already risking one item without the protect item prayer on, which would be Verac's flail. As for the ring, that also gives +1 prayer bonus, which is an explorer's ring. So the blessing and the explorer's ring are both free to reclaim if you use them, so it's pretty much just free extra stats if you have them. Over in the inventory, I have 1 super combat potion, 1 Ceradomin brew, 1 super restore, 3 prayer potions, and 1 stamina potion. As for my teleports, I'm going to be using the Anakarl teleport method to get there, so I have 2 of those teleport tablets. The reason I have 2 is because I want to keep my inventory full while I'm fighting the Chaos Elemental. I also have a seed pod, which will teleport me to safety from level 30 wilderness or below. So getting out, I will be running over to the Wilderness Obelisk, taking that teleport to somewhere below level 30 and teleporting out. As for my food source, I am using summer pies. Each one of these pies heals 11 HP a slice for a total of 22 hit points. Now the reason that we're using pies is because the Chaos Elemental has an attack that will de-equip your items if you have open inventory spaces. So if you eat a pie, you will be left with a pie dish, which will then keep your inventory full. When you finish Chaos Elemental kill, obviously you'll drop a pie dish and pick up your loot, but otherwise we want to keep our inventory full at all times. As for the second gear setup, I'm going to be going with the Viggora's Chainmace method, and we will be flinching the Chaos Elemental, so we won't be taking any damage. But for this setup, I'm going to be going with the Helm of Nitznot, the Myth's Cape, once again for that crush bonus because Viggora's Chainmace is a crush weapon. I'm going to be going with an Amulet of Torture, the Arata's Blessing, Proselyte top and bottom, or you can use Initiate or Monk's Robes if that's all you have available to you. A Dragon Defender as my offhand, Barrow's Gloves, Climbing Boots, and once again that Explorer's Ring 4. Now as for this setup, when I have my Protect item activated, I will protect the Amulet of Torture, the Viggora's Chainmace, the Dragon Defender, and the Barrow's Gloves. Over in the inventory, pretty much all of the same exact gear here except for the food. Now since we're going to be flinching, we actually won't be taking damage or any attacks from the Chaos Elemental, so we don't need to waste the extra money on those summer pies. You can use something cheaper. I'm using sharks, but you can go with monkfish if you want to. I also want to note here that if you do run into BKers, you can bring some dragon hide with you to try to stave them off or make them splash their spells, but I'm not really risking much here that I'm worried about losing, so I'm not bringing any of that. As for the Chaos Elemental's mechanics, there are only 2 of them and they are very simple. The first mechanic is going to be a teleport mechanic. Now the teleport mechanic is going to happen when you see a little red ball get thrown at you. When this ball gets thrown at you, it's going to hit you and teleport you some distance away from the Chaos Elemental, which is why we have a stamina potion in our inventory. But when this happens, literally just click on it, run back, and continue your kill. As for the second mechanic, the Chaos Elemental can throw some little green spell at you, and this is going to unequip your items. If you have any open inventory spaces in your inventory, some of your items will be taken off and placed there, and this is the reason that we use those pies. We want to keep our inventory full at all times so that doesn't happen to us, but these are very simple, very easy to overcome, so we don't really have to worry about them. And with the flinching method that I'm going to show you guys, you actually won't need to worry about either of these, so the kills are a little slower with the flinching method, but you won't have to worry about anything but just clicking, and that's it. So with that, let's go ahead and get into a couple kills. I'm going to show you guys a kill from the Verac's kill, which will be fighting the Chaos Elemental head on, and I will be showing you one with the Viggora's Chainmace, and we will be flinching the Chaos Elemental with that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start this Verac's kill. Hopefully nobody's at this teleport spot to kill me. Sweet, and drink dose of my stamina potion, and I am going to run all the way up to the Chaos Elemental. Unfortunately, I forgot to recharge my prayer, so I'm bad on that account, and I'll see you guys when I get there. Alright, so I'm up in the area of the Chaos Elemental. There it is. Protect from magic, piety, and preserve, and I'm just pretty much going to go to town raid here. So you can see some of the attacks that he's throwing at me. You always want to have Protect from Magic on when fighting the Chaos Elemental. His magic will hit you the hardest since your magic defense is pretty much non-existent in this armor. You have a negative magic defense bonus. And fortunately with this style, you're not going to see me getting any items taken off because I do have these summer pies here in the inventory. And that right there is a teleport spell. Really annoying, but it is what it is, and that's why you bring the stamina potion, just in case he keeps teleporting you a lot. You can just run right back and not have to worry about your running out. And that's it. Kill is done. Easy as that, guys. At least for the Verac method. So now we'll go ahead and get into the Viggora's Chainmace, or pretty much any other weapon that you want to use. Alright, so ready to start off with the Viggora's Chainmace method and the flinching method. Now I want to note here before I get started, you can actually use any weapon you want for this flinching method. Whatever you have available to you is fine. I'm just using the Viggora's Chainmace because, well, it's not that expensive at the moment. It's right around 6.9 mil, and it does hit very well. So if you have anything else and you can't afford this, by all means, use whatever you got. So fingers crossed for no PKers once again. And we're good. So I will see you guys when I get there. Alright, so for this method you could see I stayed a little bit south along the walls there. Ooh, somebody doing Slayer. So what we want to do here is we want to position ourselves correctly for this fight. Now you can see these trees here. These trees are kind of going to protect us. Now what we want to use is this tree here. So you can go ahead and mark that tree if you have the ability to and you're using a third-party client. We're going to go ahead and dismiss Niles because he's annoying. Put on our Protect from Magic, and we're going to go find the Chaos Elemental. So it's right there. So once it attacks you, you're going to want to get back over to this tree. Now once you get over to this tree here, you can stand behind it, and the Chaos Elemental will come to you. Now this is important here, so we're going to go ahead and pot up. Don't need Protect from Magic. We're going to go ahead and turn Piety on, and we're going to want to flinch it. So we're going to attack it and run back immediately. Now you can see that I didn't take a hit there, and we're going to wait for the HP bar to disappear. Once the HP bar disappears, you can go ahead and attack again and immediately run back. Now if you really want to get a little bit more fancy, you can turn off your Piety and save a little bit of prayer. Turn it back on, run back out, and attack. And this is all there is to it. With this method, you are going to save a little bit of money with the food costs and some prayer costs. You can stay here for a long time, providing there's no PKers around. And, well, it's just go to town and find yourself a 1 in 300 drop chance at a Chaos Elemental pet. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the kill so you guys can watch, and that'll be it. Alright, and that is the end of the kill. 125 death runes, nice. I do want to make a note here while we're here. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now. To ensure that you don't accidentally skull, you're going to want to come over here to your options, and then onto your controls. Player attack options you want hidden. If you have this hidden, you will not accidentally click on another player and skull, and you also want to make sure your auto retaliate is off. So with both of these things, you can ensure that you won't get skulled, and you'll protect your 4 items pretty much no matter what. Alright everybody, that is going to do it for this Chaos Elemental guide. I hope that it has helped you, and if you've never been to the Chaos Elemental before, I hope this gets you going into the right direction. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up down below. They help the video's popularity. If you haven't done so yet, tap that subscribe button on your way out. All of your support means a ton to me. Until the next guide, everybody, I will see y'all later. Take it easy.